This was my garden this week, May, and it snowed. Not a gentle dusting, to be sure, but a wet, heavy snow that landed on trees that were fully leafed out. That kind of loss sits in your chest. If you've ever had a late freeze or snow tear through your garden, you know exactly what I mean. So I needed a reminder that gardens survive, that spring is real somewhere. Recently, I had the delightful opportunity to visit a gardener who doesn't fight the freeze. She grows in the warmth of San Diego, California, and she does it with such intention and joy. I want you to meet Kaitlin Mitchell, the founder of Rutabaga Gardening, who shares my passion in educating around gardening. All right, so I
Hello.
am here today with Kaitlin Mitchell with Rutabaga Gardening in
Correct.
her beautiful greenhouse, which is located in her beautiful garden. And just welcome to Grow You Girl.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming and visiting me in my favorite space. And I'm just so excited to share it with you and to share it with your audience.
Fantastic. So, what we're going to do today is talk a little bit about Rutabaga Gardening,
Hmm.
why you started it, and then we're going to do a tour of
Perfect.
your beautiful garden, which I can't wait to share with everybody. All right. So, Kaitlin, how did it start? Like, you were a teacher.
I was a school teacher. So I was a fourth grade teacher in a school district that's about 45 minutes away from where I live. And when my boys were 1 and 3, my husband did get sick. He has Crohn's disease, and it was a time in our lives where we needed to simplify things. And so I took a sabbatical for a year.
And there was
And
not a lot known about it as much as there is now,
no,
right?
and it was one of those things, if I were to explain it to, it's not a glamorous disease as well. And I also, because it wasn't my disease, I was also very careful about who I told and what I told them about it. But it does affect your digestion, and it is an autoimmune disease. And we just were going through a rough spell. He was going through a rough spell. And so we just needed to simplify our lives. So I decided to take a sabbatical for the year. And at that time, too, my boys were 1 and 3. So we had that going on as well.
Just a little,
Just
a
a
few
little,
things
just
going
a
on.
lot going on. And so we took the sabbatical, and then we figured out financially how to make it work without me working. And then realized that with daycare costs and all the costs associated with being a teacher, we weren't bringing that much in anyways. So so we made that decision. And then when my older son started kindergarten, there was a garden program at the school, a small program, and I was recruited to help with the lesson planning and with the planting. And because have always loved lesson planning, I jumped in with both feet, and it turned into a much larger program. And I did have a partner. And so my partner was in charge of the communication with the parents and the teachers. And then my job was lesson planning and growing the gardens. And so a big part of the lesson planning for me to get all the teachers on board so they would give up that time every week to allow their kids to come out into the classroom was to really try to tie the lessons into the standards that they were teaching in the classes. So the next generation science standards, which are the national science standards, and then also some math and some language arts, so that when the kids would come out into the garden, not only were they learning about growing their own food and community, but they were also
Tied it all
reinforcing
together.
things that they were learning in the classroom. So I did that for 7 years. So by the time I left, every single classroom at the school, and this is over 500 kids, every single classroom had 30 minutes of garden instruction on a weekly basis. And then we had over 60 parent volunteers. And I do have to say, since I've been gone, and the woman who took over from me, and she uses the curriculum that I developed it throughout the process, which is the Rutabaga education curriculum, they continue to use the curriculum. And she's such a go-getter that now they have something like 80 parent volunteers, because parent volunteers will volunteer 1 year and then kind of understand how the program works. And the lessons are really easy to teach. They're designed so that they don't require a ton of prep. And the parents were learning all about gardening and nutrition as well. So they would come back year to year, and then recruiting wasn't as tricky as it was in the beginning. So that's where the curriculum was born. And I wrote it in a way that could be used if you live here in Southern California, but for the winter lessons,
Which, by the way, that is where we are.
that
And
we're in
what
San
year, what
Diego.
zone are you here?
We are zoned, so it depended upon where in the garden, but 10A, 10B.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You've got dual
We
zones.
have to, it just depends on where you're at. And we'll see that when we walk around.
Okay, cool.
Learning how to manipulate the space and where the sun is in your garden. So it allows me to still grow lettuce year round, because in a spot where I don't get a lot of sun, but I also can't grow my tomatoes in that spot in the summer. So really kind of figuring out what grows.
Wow.
And that honestly was just something I learned through trial and error.
Sure.
Like a lot of error.
Yeah. Like gardening
Mostly
is,
error.
right?
Yeah, exactly. And celebrating the small wins and just figuring out what works in the space that we have here. So yeah, so that's where the curriculum came from. And it is something that can be used all over the country, because the winter lessons focus more on nutrition. And if you do live somewhere that you can grow year round, then you continue to grow your cool season garden, and then you go into your warm season. And then I also, when I was running the program, one of my pet peeves was not being able to find appropriate tools for the kids. So we would get,
which we have. These are your tools, right?
There's some right there. They're actually, they're everywhere. No, you can pull any. They're everywhere.
All right. So
this one's a little dirty, but this is my scoop. And
they're better dirty.
We've got a trowel. Yeah, exactly. And that's what's good about them is I wanted to find a tool that was suitable for both adults and kids. And if you feel it, it has like a really ergonomic, and they're nice and lightweight.
Yeah.
And I when originally I wanted to develop something out of metal and wood, but when we would have the tools at the school, stainless steel would always rust, and then cast aluminum has lead, so you have to be careful that the kids wash their hands. I buy
tools for my daughter's garden here in San Diego, and every time I come back, they're rusted.
Yeah, well, I'll give you some of these. You can give her, but these are actually made from recycled plastic, so they're polypropylene, so they're BPA free. And it's end-of-life marine rope. So it's the Ocean Legacy Foundation that's actually based out of British Columbia. And then these are made up in Washington. So the blue is because it's the actual material that the marine rope. And so it's either recovered from the oceans or along shorelines, and they turn it into a product that you can repurpose for other things.
Wow.
So yeah, so I've got, this is our scoop, that's a trowel, our hand rake. And this is the weed remover, which it's a decent weed remover. It's also a good planter, but I had to make sure it wasn't a weapon for the kids.
Sharp,
so I did it so it's not too pointy, but it does get the job done. So
wow.
Yeah, so that's Rutabaga gardening. And then I teach classes. And then I just try and help out with gardens all over San Diego where I can, some for children, but also with our senior community as well. And I think we're aligned in this way that I just want to get more people outside and growing outdoors. And we talked about prior to this about the mini lessons within gardening. That's so much more than just growing food, but it's about patience and resilience and community and
peace of mind.
And even just celebrating those little wins with a group that you've worked so hard to create what is in front of you. And I just think there's like no better medicine. And there's also no better way to learn, like with learning with all your senses and actually
and I don't know
in.
If you have found this, but I hear all the time from people, I don't have a green thumb, I can't do it.
Yes.
And it's like, no, you need those 4 essentials. You need good dirt, you need sunshine, you need water, and you need oxygen. You got that.
You got all that. And then just a little understanding about where you lived, because we talked about your zones and understanding what kind of, things that are fruit bearing. That's a whole nother step to the life cycle. And so they're going to need a lot more sunshine. So you're going to need to grow those in your warm or hot seasons. They're not, and you're going to grow your vegetables in the cooler seasons. So once you kind of get that down.
And have you ever made a mistake in the garden?
Oh, thousands. I mean, that's a small number. Millions.
Millions.
So many. And really, things that I teach, I try and teach not necessarily things that I've read, but things I've done myself, because there's so much that I've done, especially when my boys were little or with kids, where the first time we grew corn, we just kind of put down a bag of soil and we put corn in. And then we thought we would do a couple varieties. And then we learned, no, you need to keep one variety of corn in an area or else you get really funky corn. So we were trying to figure out why our corn was so funky. That was why. So little things, just a lot of trial.
And I have found that there's some things I just can't grow. You know, for whatever reason, that plant does
Yes.
not want to be in my life. And
Yes.
so,
Yes.
and other things that I grow really well.
Yeah, exactly. And even here, I've tried every year. I try and grow cucumbers, but we're kind of close.
I cannot grow.
I know. Well, we're kind of close to the coast, so keeping powdery mildew at bay.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
and then also watering consistently, or else you get bitter tasting cucumbers. So that fine line. So yeah, it's really understanding.
We're one of my
space.
best friends. She grows cucumbers in Colorado. Just like, what's
no
the problem, Sherry?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's me. It's not your green thumb. It's just something about your own ecosystem of wherever you're growing.
Your own ecosystem. I like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yes.
And so can somebody get these tools somewhere?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So I sell them directly from my website. So it's just Rutabaga, and Rutabaga is Rutabaga. I used to think an E, so RutabagaGardening.com. And so
why Rutabaga? What is the story behind that?
I like how it sounds. I wish I had a better. At one point, it was going to be.
The sound of the rutabaga.
I do. It was kitschy, but it's you can grow rutabagas here. It's much easier to grow rutabagas in other parts of the country.
Right.
But I had a camp. It was Rutabaga Kids. I thought it sounded really cute. At one point, it was Easy Peasy, and then Easy Peasy is everywhere. But Rutabaga, there's not a lot of Rutabaga businesses, so I just stuck with it. So it was Rutabaga Kids, Rutabaga Garden, Rutabaga Education, Rutabaga Garden.
So we're not going to find any rutabaga in your.
You can't buy rutabagas, but if you go to Rutabaga Gardening, you can find Rutabaga tools, and you can find the Rutabaga Education curriculum, which I do sell in a printed version, in a digital. Kind of phasing out the printed and would like to just continue with the digital. So those will always be there.
Sure.
And it allows me to make minor updates. And at some point I would like, it goes up to 4th grade, but it can be used with much older kids, but I'd like to even continue and beyond. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So it's one of those businesses that, without being too punny, really did develop very organically. And even when my son started kindergarten, I had a 3-year-old who loved being in the garden with me. I knew eventually he was going to be at this elementary school. I wanted the program to be there for him and kids like him who learn a little bit differently when he was in the school system. And then I just realized it doesn't matter what kind of learner you are, learning outdoors and with your classmates and with all of your senses is good for every type of child. Yeah. Every type of person. Not just child.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Cool. All right, well, let's go ahead.
Okay.
And go and look at your garden.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so what have we got?
So we're kind of in a transition time between our cool and warm seasons. So I'm taking advantage of the shade that I still have in this area at this time of year. So I am still growing a lot of lettuce. I love growing lettuce because as long as you harvest the leaves from the outside, you can continue to grow the plant from the center.
One of my favorites.
And you can get so much food out of this. So we eat a lot of salads. And so that's kind of the plan here.
And do you do this year round, or?
I'm going to try doing it year round, because when I tried to grow things in this bed in particular that doesn't get sun until the late afternoon, I found that I wasn't getting wasn't getting what I needed for fruit to ripen. So I'm going to see how long I can grow. I probably late summer, I'll transition it to something else, but as long as I can keep harvesting from here, I'm going to continue doing that.
I love that. And tell me about this irrigation system.
This is okay, so this I just discovered. It's called Garden in Minutes. And it actually ties to an app that I have on my phone. But every morning I have this running for about 6 minutes. And it waters in kind of a grid system, so everything really gets covered, but it's also watering at the roots, so I'm not losing a lot of water from evaporation. It's going straight to where...
And it's coming out of here.
It is, yeah. So there's tiny holes, and then they shoot across, so you really get full coverage at the base of the plants.
Nice.
Yeah, so Garden in Minutes. It's a really good system.
And so this just goes to...
This is actually connected to an irrigation system that we've set up, but you could, the way that this comes, you could even set it up to a hose and attach a timer, and you could set it up that way as well. So it is and when it comes pretty assembled. I think I had to attach it somewhere in the middle, but other than that, it's the easiest system that I've found so far that really does that good coverage. and was really helpful for me. So in this bed, this used to be all carrots. Do have a few carrots still growing. And then I recently just put a bunch of radish seeds. But with seeds, in order for them to germinate, you need that consistent moisture.
Yes.
And what I like about this system is it does do a nice job watering evenly in the area. So you can see, I just did these a couple of days ago, and I'm going to have to thin them out because I have so many radishes,
radishes, I tell
that
you.
germinated. And then in this bed, I've started, it's a little early in the season, but I've got a couple tomato plants growing. I work with an event called Tomato Mania, so it allows me to get tomato plants a little bit earlier. So I've got a couple here, and then I've got them all over the garden. And then my herbs that have kind of gotten out of control.
Oh, those herbs.
But I love them. I love to just put my fingers and hands in them and just smell.
You got some nasturtium growing in there.
I've got zinnias, marigolds, and I do incorporate a lot of flowers and herbs because it's the best pest prevention, to the point.
So let's talk about that. What? Oh, I have to look at this zinnia. Oh my goodness, that is a gorgeous color. I love that.
Oh yeah, and that's just the chive flowers.
Oh, the chive flowers.
So the two best way that I know for pest prevention is, first of all, to grow healthy plants. So one of my favorite things to do is to incorporate worm castings into the soil when I plant, or I like to add it around the base of the plant, and then as I water, it seeps down into the roots. And then the second thing is companion planting. So with this tomato plant, for example, by planting basil and some marigolds and some chives, I'm deterring probably one of the worst pests for my tomato plant, which is the dreaded hornworm, which is that green worm that you'll be picking your tomato plant and then be inches away from it. So
it's a creature from outer space.
It's a creature from outer space, but they really are not fond of the basil, of the chives, of the marigolds, so it helps keep them at bay. And that was a trick we used at school a lot because that would be an issue. But as long as we companion planted and really made like a diverse ecosystem, it was super helpful. So that's
is there a pest that you have not been able to control, like caterpillars? Like my son in his little garden is talking about, and my daughter, I believe, has caterpillars in hers too, like little baby caterpillars.
So we get in the fall, especially if it takes a while for it to cool, we'll get those cabbage worms. So more with my vegetables, and I do feel like it takes longer and longer for the cool. We really didn't have, and I know the rest of the country had a much different experience, but we didn't have a true winter.
No, we didn't.
And we need those cool temperatures in order for those caterpillars to go away. So I do feel like it was more of a battle with them. It's like those cute white butterflies that have, they're cute, but their caterpillars just devour everything. So one thing I will use is BT, which is one thing, but I do make sure, which actually affects their intestinal tract. So they'll eat the plant and then eventually die off. But I do make sure that anything that I use that on, I rinse it really well. It is safe and organic for us, but just to be on the safe side, I just want to make sure I rinse it really well. So BT is what I'll use for that. Other than that, as long as I do a good job with the companion planting, I don't have too many pest issues. Or if I get powdery mildew, try and remove it as quickly as possible before it'll spread.
Just remove the leaves.
Remove the leaves. Sometimes add some sulfur to the soil. That's something that can help with powdery mildew if you catch it in the beginning.
Right.
So those are a couple of my tricks. And then I try and add a lot of flowers everywhere just to attract the pollinators.
Yeah, you just got a beautiful job. And it makes the garden look so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Here, I'll show you. I've got other things kind of sprinkled in.
This little fountain. I love your fountain.
Thank you.
Repurposed it.
We tried to get it to work. It didn't. So it became a planter.
What is this?
So this is a native plant, which I should know the name of, but I don't.
Okay.
I just put this in the ground a couple of years ago, and I don't think it's going anywhere. It's one of those that I really don't have to water, and you can tell by just how woody it is, but it is something that's native to San Diego, and it does get some really pretty purple flowers a couple times a year.
Love it.
And then always incorporate different types of basil. So that's African blue basil, which does not taste very good, but the bees love it. So it's really more of a pollinator plant than anything.
It's gorgeous.
And it has such a nice smell. So I try and put this And it's incredibly drought tolerant too,
Mm.
which is important for us.
Yeah, right. We're in a terrible drought in
I
Colorado right
know.
now. The snowpack is zero.
Just
Yeah.
it was such a bizarre winter
Oh,
for
so
everybody.
bizarre.
And then this is parsley, which is something I tend to grow more in the shade or the cool
Wow.
season, but I do like to leave it so that it
Hmm.
can bolt
Yeah,
because
I
my
love the
pollinators
bolting of
love
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Uh-huh.
And then I just have some other, right now, tomato plants as I transition. I've got tomato plants, a couple there, a couple in this bed. And then as we transition, as it gets warmer, I'll
I
probably
love
start moving. And
your
oh,
bird
thank you. It's
house.
my husband built this. So this
Nice.
was for my 50th birthday. I got to work on it, but on the living roof a little bit. But yeah, he built this.
So nice.
Thank you. And then a little blueberry plant, but we've got more blueberry plants in that last bed. And then I'm growing my garlic, which I cannot wait to harvest.
Now, when is harvest here for you?
So
Ours, I know, is
like,
like July, but
yeah, it can be like early summer or just, I'm kind of just waiting for the plants to tell me when they're ready. And then I tend to do the soft neck garlic, not the hard neck, because hard neck garlic, it actually needs a period of time where it's frozen in the ground in order for it to grow. So we just do, since we don't have freezing here, I do the soft neck garlic. And I can always tell the real thick ones, the more leaves, just means the more cloves that you've got.
really?
Yes.
Wow.
So this one, not as much, but this one, I think is going to be a pretty good one. Or maybe this one back here.
Fantastic. And I love this.
The kumquat tree.
Kumquat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are fun because you really can eat them right off the tree.
Nice.
No peeling required. It's like nature's Sour Patch.
And you trained it to do that?
We
Yeah.
We did. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then we just have our citrus trees. So
just citrus trees.
citrus trees. So we have, this one's kind of fun. It's a pink lemonade tree. And if we were to cut it open, it does have kind of an orangey pink inside. And it is a little bit sweeter, kind of like a Meyer
sweeter,
lemon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got a tangerines. We don't have too many. We just harvested a bunch. But we've got some tangerines over here. Actually, these are tangelos. And then this one doesn't have too much on it right now, but it was more of like your traditional orange tree. Not a Valencia, but I don't know the exact. And then our lime tree, which was supposed to be a dwarf, and it's not.
It is not.
It turned out not to be.
A big dwarf, yeah.
But it does. One thing that we love to do is with limes, you're used to them being green, but true limes actually do turn yellow if they're left long enough on the tree, and they're so much sweeter and juicier. So we kind of let them
just fall.
Yeah. Here's a couple.
I love that. All right, so I want to show everybody your cactus outside of your gate.
Oh yeah, let's go.
It is fantastic. It's one of these things that I just love about.
And the front yard was kind of a mess. So this summer we redid the whole front yard too.
Oh, it is. It was. I noticed that pulling up. I was like, oh my gosh, so beautiful. Oh, all of this. Look at this. I didn't see this before. That is gorgeous. But look at this cactus. Now, how old would you guess this cactus is?
So this was in kind of our first round. We've had this guy in the ground at least 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot has changed around him, but he's kind of, and there are he used to be bigger. You can see where we've had to trim some of the leaves.
Amazing. And I just love the use of space.
Oh, thank you.
And do you irrigate this side?
We use, it's called Netafim. It's like a drip irrigation system. So, but the idea was to plant things that don't need a ton of water, but as long as we irrigate them, and with the use of mulch, we can be a little bit smarter with how much water we're using.
Fantastic. And then you've got some more going on over here.
Just trying to make use of all the space. So I planted some corn, and then this over here, I basically just buried a decomposing pumpkin.
Wow.
And then it's probably going to get really crowded there pretty soon, but I'm just gonna, it's one of those things. Like, let's just see what happens.
Yeah. And you put a pumpkin there to just let it know
Yeah,
what it's
exactly.
supposed to do.
Yeah, to be like, this is our goal. This is what you want to do.
You could do this too.
You can.
Fantastic. Well, that is great.
I know, it's the best. Gardening's the best.
Well, it's the imagination, right? I mean,
Yes.
it's one of the things that I love with each space, and you've definitely done that here in your garden, where you've taken each little space and let the imagination.
And I still have this dream of doing like a spiral staircase that like comes off of that deck, and then doing a rooftop garden. Wouldn't that be amazing? Someday.
Dreaming, always dreaming.
Always dreaming. There's always opportunity.
My husband says, "Do you ever stop thinking?" I'm like, "No,
No, not at all."
Maybe someday when you bury me, but that's it.
Yeah, someone said the other day too, they were like, "Do you always use your hands so much when you talk?" And I'm like, if I can't use my hands, I don't think I can talk.
Exactly.
All of a sudden I feel.
And just every little, like, I love the little fence right here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, very sweet. Very, very nice. And then here's the greenhouse. And how long have you had your greenhouse?
Gosh, let me think. We only the last couple of years.
Okay.
It took us, originally we were going to use all old doors and windows, which we still have in the basement. We were going to try and construct something. And then we realized we were not qualified to do that. So this is from BC Greenhouses.
Oh, right, out of Canada, right?
Yes, yeah. And so we worked with them, and they actually helped us design so that we knew the brickwork that we needed to do. And then we got the old sink it was something that was in my parents had it, and they were going to get rid of it. So we repurposed it. And then I got this in a architectural salvage, which was in downtown San Diego, and we just sanded it and turned it into storage, and and then built these so that we can grow.
So the grow lights go at night? Is that
so? The grow lights, I'm actually waiting for the sprouts to come up.
To germinate?
Once the sprouts come up, I'll take the lids off, and then I'll try and give them as much sunlight as possible, just so they don't get leggy.
Yeah.
And I'm growing some really fun stuff right now. So stuff I've never grown before. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Fantastic. Well, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
And you are such an inspiration.
Oh, thank you.
And any final words that you would like to say to encourage someone who maybe, oh, that's nice, but I could never do it?
You could totally do it. Well, first of all, this is a space that has been, I don't want to say curated, but grown slowly over time, and has definitely grown over time. But even if you have a little bit of space, I used to, when we had a small condominium in downtown, we just had a balcony. And on that balcony, I started growing herbs in small pots. And that's where I really fell in love with it. So you don't need a ton of space. You can start small. And it's really important to celebrate the little wins, because you're going to have, there are going to be not failures, as there are going to be learning opportunities. And you just celebrate the wins and appreciate those moments, and then try and do something different the next time. So just have fun with it.
Cool, cool, cool. Thank you so much, and love your plants. I mean, one of the things that one of my phrases is to plant often and to do it with love. Because I think if you put love into anything, it will come back to you.
It's what is that, like, where your intention goes, something grows?
Everything grows.
Everything grows. Where intention goes, good things grow, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So, thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Thanks for growing with us. And we will see you next time. And in the meantime, be sure to like, comment, let us know what really resonated for you in this video. And then, of course, be sure to subscribe at no cost to you and be updated when we have new videos up to play.